Vandeyam Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivashikam Vitam Sya Om Agyana Timaranda Shagyanajana Shalakaya Chakshurun Milidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Gorva Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktianvidam Sundaram Vande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pranam Devam Devyatanum Suchandavanam Balar Kachelan Shitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyambudim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Vandetam Shivaram Madeka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Vanchakopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Namo Mahavananyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Goratavishe Nama. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishna das Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Madhya-lila chapter 2, the ecstatic manifestations of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vichedesmin Prabhur Antya-lila Sutranuvarnane Gorasya Krishna Vicheda Pralapadi Anuvarnyate. Well, relating in synopsis form the last division of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While relating in synopsis form the last division of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this chapter I shall describe the Lord's transcendental ecstasy, which appears like madness due to his separation from Krishna. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of the Lord. Sej Rohila Prabhur Dvarasha Vatsar Krishna Viyoga Swarti Hoy Nirantar. During his last 12 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always manifested all the symptoms of ecstasy and separation from Krishna. Shri Radhikara Cheshta Jena Udavadarshane Emata Dasha Prabhur Hoy Ratridine. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's state of mind, day and night, was practically identical to Radharani's state of mind when Uddhava came to Vrindavan to see the gopis. Nirantara hoy prabhur viraha unmada brahma moy cheshta sada pralapa moy vada. The Lord constantly exhibited a state of mind reflecting the madness of separation. All his activities were based on forgetfulness, and his talks were always based on madness. Roma Kupe, Raktodgama, Danda Sabhale, Kane Anga Kina Hoy, Kane Anga Fule. Blood flowed from all the pores of his body, and all his teeth were loosened. At one moment his whole body became slender, and in another moment his whole body became fat. Gambira bitare ratre nahi nidra labh bita mukha shiragashe kata hoy sab. The small room beyond the corridor is called the Gambir. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to stay in that room, but he did not sleep for a moment. All night he used to grind his mouth. and head on the wall. All night he used to grind his mouth and head on the wall, and his face sustained injuries all over. Tindware kapata prabhu jayena bahire kabusima dware pare kabas sindunire. Although the three doors of the house were always closed, the Lord would nonetheless go out and sometimes would be found at the Jagannath temple before the gate known as Simadwar, and sometimes the Lord would fall flat into the sea. Chetaka Parvata Deki Govardhana Brahme Dhanachali Artanara Korea Krandane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would also run very fast across the sand dunes, mistaking them for Govardhan. As he ran, he would wail and cry loudly. Upabhano jnana deki brindavana gyan tahanjai nache gai kane murcha jan. Sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mistook the small parks of the city for Vrindavan. Sometimes he would go there, dance and chant, and sometimes fall unconscious in spiritual ecstasy. Kahan nahi shuni bhaver vikar, kahan nahi shuni jay bhavera vikar, say baba hoy prabhur sharire prachar. Extraordinary transformations of the body due to transcendental feelings would never have been possible for anyone but the Lord, in whose body all transformations were manifested. Astapadera sandisab bitasti pramane sandichari binahoye charma rahistane. The joints of his body, the joints of his hands and legs would sometimes become separated by 8 inches, and they remain connected only by the skin. Hasta para shirasab sharira bitare pravishta hoy korma rupa dekiye prabhure. Sometimes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hands, legs, and head would all enter within his body, just like the withdrawn limbs of a tortoise. Ematad bhuta bhava sharire prakash manete sanyata bhakye haha hutash. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to manifest wonderful ecstatic symptoms. His mind appeared vacant, and there were only hopelessness and disappointment in his words. Kahan mora prananat murali badan, kahan karon kahan pan brajendra nandan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to express his mind in this way. Where is the Lord of my life who is playing his flute? What shall I do now? Where shall I go to find the son of Maharaj Nanda? Kahare kohiva keba jane mora duk. Kahare kohiva keva jane mora duk. Brajendra Nandana binu fate mora buk. To whom should I speak? Who can understand my disappointment? Without the son of Nanda Maharaj, my heart is broken. Emata vilapa kore vivala antar rayara nataka shloka pare nirantar. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always expressed bewilderment and lamented in separation from Krishna. At such times, he used to recite the shlokas from Ramananda Roy's drama known as Jagannath Vallabha Nataka. Premacheda Rujo Vagaja Premacheda Rujo Vagajati Harer Nayam Nacha Premava Stanam Avaiti Napi Marano Janati No Durbalaha Anyo Veda Nachanya Dukam Akilam Na jivanam vashravam dvitrani eva dinani yovanam idam haha vidika gati. Srimati Radharani used to lament, our Krishna does not realize what we have suffered from injuries inflicted in the course of loving affairs. We are actually misused by love because love does not know where to strike and where not to strike. Even Cupid does not know of our very much weakened condition. What shall I tell anyone? No one can understand another's difficulties. Our life is actually not under our control, for youth will remain for 2 or 3 days and soon be finished. And this conditional creator, what will be our destination? Upajila prema ankura mangila jay duka pura Krishna taha nahi koreban bahire nagara raj bitare shashtarakaj paranare vare savadan. Srimati Radharani spoke thus in distress due to separation from Krishna. Well, what shall I say of my distress? After I met Krishna, my loving propensities sprouted, but upon separating from him, I sustained a great shock, which is now continuing like the sufferings of a disease. The only physician for this disease is Krishna himself, but he is not taking care of this sprouting plant of devotional service. What can I say about the behavior of Krishna? Outwardly, he is a very attractive young lover, but at heart, he is a great cheat, very expert in killing others' wives. Saki he na bujiye vidir vidan sukha lage koilun prita hoila dukkha viparita ebe jaina rahe paran. Srimati Radharani continued lamenting about the consequences of loving Krishna. My dear friend, I do not understand the regulative principles given by the Creator. I love Krishna for happiness, but the result was just the opposite. I am now in an ocean of distress. It must be that now I am going to die, for my vital force no longer remains. This is my state of mind. Kutila prema agijan nahi jane stanastan balo manda nare vicharite krora shatera guna dore hate gale bande more rakiyache nare ukashite. By nature, loving affairs are very crooked. They are not entered with sufficient knowledge, nor do they consider where a place is suitable, nor do they consider whether a place is suitable or not, nor do they look forward to the results. By the ropes of his good qualities, Krishna, who is so unkind, has bound my neck and hands, and I am unable to get relief. Jai Marana Tanuhina Paradrohe Parabina Pancha Mana Sande Anukan Abalara Sharyare Bindi Koila Jara Jare Dukadeya Naloy Jivan. In my loving affairs there is a person named Madana. His qualities are thus. Personally, he possesses no gross body, yet he is very expert in giving pains to others. He has 5 arrows, and fixing them on his bow, he shoots them into the bodies of innocent women. Thus these women become invalids. It would be better if he took my life without hesitation, but he does not do so. He simply gives me pain. Anjara jay dukamane anyetaha nahijane satya e shastrara vichare anyajan kahanliki najanaye pranas saki jate kohe darya daribare. In the scriptures it is said that one person can never know the unhappiness in the mind of another. Therefore, what can I say of my dear friends, Lalita and the others? Nor can they understand the unhappiness within me. They simply try to console me repeatedly, saying, "Dear friend, be patient." Krishna Kripa Parabar Kabu Kore Bena Angikar Saki Tora E Vyarta Vachan Jivara Jivana Chanchala Jena Padma Patrera Jala Tatadina Jive Kunjan. I say, my dear friends, you are asking me to be patient, saying that Krishna is an ocean of mercy and that sometime in the future he will accept me. However, I must say that this will not console me. A living entity's life is very flickering. It is like water on the leaf of a lotus flower. Who will live long enough to expect Krishna's mercy? Shata Vatsara Paryanta Jivara Jivana Anta Evakya Kohana Vichari Narayana Jovanadana Jare Krishna Koreman Se Yovana Dina Duichari. A human being does not live more than 100 years. You should also consider that the youthfulness of a woman, which is the only attraction for Krishna, remains for only a few days. Agni Chaiche Nijadam Dekaya Abhiram Patangire Akarshyamare Krishna Aiche Nijaguna Dekaya Hareman Pache Duka Samudre Tedare. If you say that Krishna is an ocean of transcendental qualities and therefore must be merciful someday, I can only say that he is like fire, which attracts moths by its dazzling brightness and kills them. Such are the qualities of Krishna. By showing us his transcendental qualities, he attracts our minds, and then later, by separating from us, he drowns us in an ocean of unhappiness. This poetry of Krishna das Kaviraj Goswami is amazing. Eteka vilapa kori vishara Shri Gorahari Udgadiya dukera kapata pavera taranga bole nana rupe manachale ara ek shloka koila pata. In this way, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lamented in a great ocean of sadness, and thus he opened the doors of his unhappiness. Forced by the waves of ecstasy, his mind wandered over transcendental mellows, which means different rasas, and he recited another verse as follows. In this way, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lamented in a great ocean of sadness, and thus he opened the doors of his unhappiness. Forced by the waves of ecstasy, his mind wandered over transcendental mellows, and he recited another verse as follows. Shri Krishna Rupari Nishevanam Vina Vyartani Mehani Akilendri Yanyalam Pashana Sukhendana Barakani Aho Bibharmi Ba Tani Katam Hatatrapaha. My dear friends, unless I serve the transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Krishna, all my days and all my senses will become entirely useless. Now I am uselessly bearing the burden of my senses, which are like stone blocks and dried wood. I do not know how long I will be able to continue without shame. Bamshi Ganamrita Dhamma Lavanyamrita Janmastana Jaina Deke Seichanda Vadan Seinayane Kivakaj Paduka Tara Munde Baj Seinayana Rohe Kikaran. Of what use are the eyes of one who does not see the face of Krishna, which resembles the moon and is the birthplace of all beauty and the reservoir of the nectarian songs of his flute? Oh, let a thunderbolt strike his head. Why does he keep such eyes? Saki he shuna mora hata vidibo mora bapu chitaman sakala indriyagan Krishna binu sakala vifal. My dear friends, please hear me. I have lost all providential strength. Without Krishna, my body, consciousness, and mind, as well as all my senses, are useless. Krishnara Madhura Bani Amritera Tarangini Tara Pravesha Nahi Jai Shravane Ganakari Chidrasam Janiya Se Shravan Tara Janma Hoila Karane. Topics about Krishna are like waves of nectar. If such nectar does not enter one's ear, the ear is no better than the hole of a damaged conch shell. Such an ear is created for no purpose. Krishnara Adaramrita Krishna Guna Charita Shuddhasara Swara Vinandan Tarashwara Jaina Jane Janmiyana Moila Kene Narasana Beka Jiwasam. The nectar from the lips of Lord Krishna and his transcendental qualities and characteristics surpass the taste of the essence of all nectar, and there's no fault in tasting such nectar. If one does not taste it, one should die immediately after birth, and his tongue is to be considered no better than the tongue of a frog. Mrigamara Nilotpala Milane Jay Parimala Jay Hare Tara Garvaman Hena Krishna Anga Ganda Jaranahi Se Sambanda Se Nasha Bastrara Saman. One's nostrils are no better than the bellows of a blacksmith if one has not smelled the fragrance of Krishna's body, which is like the aroma of musk combined with that of the bluish lotus flower. Indeed, such combinations are actually defeated by the aroma of Krishna's body. Krishna Kora Paratala Koti Chandra Shushitala Tara Sparsha Jena Sparsha Mani Tara Sparsha Nahijar Se Jok Charakar Se Bapu Loha Samajani. The palms of Krishna's hands and the soles of his feet are so cool and pleasant that they can be compared only to the light of millions of moons. One who has touched such hands and feet has indeed tasted the effects of touchstone. If one has not touched them, one's life is spoiled and one's body is like iron. Kori Eta Vilapan Prabhu Sachi Nandan Udgadiya Hridayera Shok Donya Nirveda Vishade Hridayera Anvasade Punarapi Pare Ek Shlok. Lamenting in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the doors of grief within his heart. Morose, humble, and disappointed, he recited a verse again and again with a despondent heart. Jada Jato Daivan Madhu Ripur Aso Lochana Patam Tarasmakam Cheto Marana Hatakena Aritam Abud Puna Yasmin Esha Shanan Apirishor ete paravim vida shyamas tasmin akila gatika ratna kachita. If by chance the transcendental form of Krishna comes before the path of my vision, my heart, injured from being beaten, will be stolen away by Cupid, happiness personified, because I could not see the beautiful form of Krishna to my heart's content. When I again see his form, I shall decorate the phases of time with many jewels. Srila Srila Maharaj quoted this, where he said, one devotee said, well, today is my birthday, but according to astrology, it's a very inauspicious day. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj referred to this verse. He said, no. He said, in this day you have completed another year in Krishna consciousness. So this day is very glorious, and you should decorate it with jewels and flowers. So if by chance the transcendental form of Krishna comes before the path of my vision, my heart, injured from being beaten, will be stolen away by Cupid, happiness personified. Because I could not see the beautiful form of Krishna to my heart's content, when I again see his form, I shall decorate the phases of time with many jewels. Jai Kale Bast, Stapane Dekinu Vamshivarane, Sekale Aira, Dui Bairi, Ananda Ara Marana, Harinila Moraman, Dekitena Painu Netrabari. Whenever I had the chance to see Lord Krishna's face in his flute, even in a dream, two enemies would appear before me. They were pleasure and Cupid, and since they took away my mind, I was not able to see the face of Krishna to the full satisfaction of my eyes. Puna Jadi Kon Khan, Koraya Krishna Darshan, Tabise Gate, Kanapal, Diyamaya Chandana, Nanaratna, Abaran, Alakrita, Korimul, Sakal. If by chance such a moment comes when I can once again see Krishna, then I shall worship those seconds, months, and hours with flower garlands and pulp of sandalwood and decorate them with all kinds of jewels and ornaments. Kanibaya Hoilaman, Age, Deke Duijan, Tare Puche Amina Chaitanya, Swapna Prai, Ki Dekinu, Kiba Ame, Pralapinu, Tomara Kichu, Shunijach Dainya. In an instant, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regained external consciousness and saw two persons before him. Questioning them, he asked, am I conscious? What dreams have I been seeing? What craziness have I spoken? Have you heard some expressions of humility? Shunamora pranera bandava nahe Krishna prima dana daridra morak jivana dehendriya britta morasab. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear friends, you are my life and soul. Therefore I tell you that I possess no wealth of love for Krishna. Consequently, my life is poverty-stricken. My limbs and senses are useless. Punako he hai shuna swarup ramarai emora hridaya nischai shune koraha vichar hoi noi kahasar etabole shloka ucharai. Again he addressed Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda, speaking despondently. Alas, my friends, you can now know the certainty within my heart, and after knowing my heart, you should judge whether I am correct or not. You can speak of this properly. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then began to chant another verse. Kai avarahi Premam na I hoi manushe loi, ajayi hoi hastavirahe hantami ko jai. I have love of God devoid of cheating propensities is not possible within this material world. If there is such a love, there cannot be separation. For if there is separation, how can one live? This is a verse in a common language called Prakrita, and the exact Sanskrit transformation is Kavitva Rahitam Prema Nai Bhavati Manushe Loke Jari Bhavati Kasya Viraha Virahe Sati Api Ko Jivati. And Mahaprabhu expresses this in the Prakrita language, which I believe is spoken in Vrindavan, but Kayi avarahik premam na I hoyi monushe loi jai hoy kashavirahe hantami ko jai. Haitava Krishna Prema Jena Jambunada Hema Se Prema Niloke Nahoy Jari Hoy Tara Joga Nahoy Tabe Viyoga Viyoga Hoyle Kehonai Chi. Pure love for Krishna, just like gold from the Jambu River, does not exist in human society. If it existed, there could not be separation. If separation were there, no one could live. So all these are poetic verses written by Krishna das Kaviraj in Bengali. It's all Bengali verses. Itagohe Sachi Sutta Shloka Pade Adbhuta Shune Duke Ekmana Haya Apana Ridoya Kaj Kohite Basiya Laj Tabu Kohe Loja Bijakana. Thus speaking, the son of Srimati Sachi Mata recited another wonderful verse, and Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar heard this verse with rapt attention. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I feel shameful to disclose the activities of my heart. Nonetheless, I shall be done with all formalities and speak from the heart. Please hear. Na prema gandosti darapi me haro krandami sobhagya bharam prakashitum vamshi vilasi anana lokanam vina bibarmi yat prana patanga kanvrita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear friends, I have not the slightest tinge of love of Godhead within my heart. When you see me crying in separation, I'm just falsely exhibiting a demonstration of my great fortune. Indeed, not seeing the beautiful face of Krishna playing his flute, I continue to live my life like an insect without purpose. Ture Shuddha Prema Ganda Kapata Primera Banda Seho Mora Nahi Krishna Pai Tabeje Kore Krandan Eva Sobhagya Prakyapan Kore Iha Janiya Nisjoy. Actually, my love for Krishna is far, far away. Whatever I do is actually an exhibition of pseudo-love of Godhead. When you see me cry, I am simply falsely demonstrating my great fortune. Please try to understand this beyond a doubt. Jati Vamshi Dwani Suk Nadeki Se Chandamuk Jajapi Nahika Alambana Nijadehe Kori Priti Kevala Kamera Riti Prana Kitera Koriye Daran. Even though I do not see the moon-like face of Krishna as he plays on his flute, and although there is no possibility of my meeting him, still I take care of my own body. That is the way of lust. In this way I maintain my fly-like life. Krishna Prema Shunir Mao Jena Shuddha Gangajal Se Prema Amritera Sindhu Nirmala Se Anurage Nalukaya Anya Dage Shukla Bastre Jaiche Mase Bindu. Love for Lord Krishna is very pure, just like the waters of the Ganges. That love is an ocean of nectar. That pure attachment to Krishna does not conceal any spot which would appear just like a spot of ink on a white cloth. Shuddha Prema Sukha Sindhu Paitara Ek Bindu Se Bindu Jagat Dubai Kahibara Jogya Noi Tatapi Bole Kai Kahile Se Keba Pati Jai. Unalloyed love of Krishna is like an ocean of happiness. If someone gets one drop of it, the whole world can drown in that drop. It is not befitting to express such love of God. Yet a madman must speak, but even though he speaks, no one believes him. Emata dine dine swarup ramananda sane nija bhav korana bidita bhaivi sajwala hoy bitare anandamoy Krishna premara adbhuta charita. In this way, Lord Chaitanya used to revel in ecstasy day after day and exhibit these ecstasies before Swarup, Damodar, and Ramananda Roy. Externally, there appeared severe tribulation as if he were suffering from poisonous effects, but internally he was experiencing bliss. This is characteristic of transcendental love of Krishna. A prema ashwadan tapta eku charvan mukha jwale na jai tyajan se prema jaramane tara vikrama se jane vishamrite ekatra milan. If one tastes such love of God, one can compare it to hot sugar cane. When one chews hot sugar cane, one's mouth burns, yet one cannot give it up. Similarly, if one has but a little love of Godhead, one can perceive its powerful effects. It can only be compared to poison and nectar mixed together. So tomorrow I'll continue from here. Yeah, I'll stop. We'll sing Hari Haraya. Devotees can take breakfast. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Gopa Govinda Ram Shimadu Sudana. Gopa Govinda Ram Shimadu Sudana. Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana. Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Janardan Seva Sari Gora Bhaktivedanta. Radha Shiva Sari Gora Bhaktivedanta. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raguna. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raguna. Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raguna. Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raguna. Jai Gosai Kori Janana Bandhan. Jai Gosai Kori Janana Bandhan. Yavate Vignana Savista Puran. Yavate Vignana Savista Puran. Jai Gosai Jarmi Janardan. Jai Gosai Jarmi Janardan. Dasavana Padarenu Mora Panchagan. Dasavana Padarenu Mora Panchagan. Radha Sevi Bhakta Sanima. Radha Sevi Janame Janame More Abhilan. Janame Janame More Abhilan. Jai Saturday, and Pitambar Prabhu is going back to Guadalajara, so we wish that he has a safe trip, and he's traveling alone. So want all the devotees who are hearing to do give some their blessings to Pitambar. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Garanga Gandharvika Giridhariju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sarashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sarashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Sat Siddhananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsi Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Jai Vishwavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Kushama Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Ki Jai. Aparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Kuladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Gangam Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad Ki Jai. Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad Ki Jai. All these Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai. Jai Madan Maharaj Ki Jai. Adikeshwar Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Sharanangi Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti